Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're a repeat visitor, if not, welcome in, and I hope you learned something. In this one we're going to have a look at Substance Sampler. We're going to look specifically at the embroidery filter to try and get something out of that. Well, we're not going to try, we're going to. Okay, so I'm going to hit Create New from our start screen here, and I've got the flat plane as my display. If you haven't, you can change that down here by getting the viewer settings up and selecting your desired primitive. Okay, so what we need for our embroidery is a black and white image. Well, not black and white, a grayscale. And I've created this one kind of as an example. So I've got, it's a PNG, so only within the grey is visible. So we have white, we have black, we have mid-grey. So that's going to give us 3 different regions to work with. You can add more, of course, but I'm just demoing, as per usual. So to start off, I'm going to drag and drop that onto this layer stack over here, and it will come up with a little wizard to ask me what I want to do with it, and I want to use it as a bitmap. So bitmap input is, well, it's an input, it's not an output. So it won't actually show in our viewport, so don't get confused like I used to. Well, where is it, what's happening, I don't know. So nothing should happen just yet, but we're going to put something over the top of it which has an output, and it's going to use this as the input. So let me hide these settings, and over in our starter assets here I'm going to start to type embroidery, and it should give us this filter. And I'll drag and drop that over the top of our bitmap, or our image rather. It's not bitmap, it's PNG. Okay, so it's detected that I've got different levels of grey, and it's put stitching in each of them, and the stitching is different for each of them. In this case it's just the colour, but we can change that. So under our base parameters for this, we can change our colour levels to 3, because I've only got 3 in there, and I'm going to change the colour mode from material to colour just to have a simpler one, and it's going to reset it so that they're all white. And on top of that we have our embroidery scale, and this is dependent upon your desired usage for it. If you want to use this as a patch for clothing, then you perhaps want to keep it between 0 and 1, because that's going to scale nicely and fit to a piece of clothing. If you're doing a much larger thing, because I can imagine you could do a whole carpet or a whole rug out of this technique, excuse me, you can increase further. So 1 is the kind of limit set on the slider, but you can actually overblow that, so you can type in a number and it will give you bigger numbers. So there we go, we've got a nice lots of very, very small stitches, which is going to be more suitable for a large area. Okay, I'm going to leave that at somewhere about 1. There we go. We can also change the length and width of our stitches, so I can increase and decrease accordingly, and I will get different effects, and just gives you a bit of control then over your output. We can have a distance, and I think that kind of closes the distance between the different regions. So if I change my emboss distance down to 0, I will get a very narrow gap between the two, and the more I increase it, the wider that will get. I said 2 there, I didn't mean 2, I meant 3. Yeah, between the 3 regions. And we also have imperfections, so if I pop these all down to 0, all of our stitches in varying regions will point in the same direction without question. If I increase the imperfections, we will get much more randomness, and that can give you a more, how can I put it, convincing, I think, arrangement. you know, nobody's that perfect unless it's a machine, perhaps. Okay, so next then is our colours. So we've got 3 colours here because we set our colour count to 3, and now I can pick a colour for each of these and adjust some other settings. So I'm going to go red, white and blue, or red, blue and white rather. There we go. Let's click off. We also have in here, under each of the colours, because we can independently control each region, an orientation mode, and that's basically how it's going to try and fit the stitches in. So if I select auto, it's going to guess, but I can make it linear, which is all in the same direction, which is not very suitable for that outside one. We can go circular, which I think gives us almost like a, you know, star pattern, a radial spoke pattern, and we can go square. There we go. So I think for this outer one, circular is the way to go, and I think also for the star it will be the same. So I'll go down to the colour for star, whoops, or the colour 3 in this case, and I'll set that to circular as well. See, now everything's coming in from this middle point and, you know, flexing outwards. I'm not sure about the blue region. I'm going to try a couple of things. Well, I'll try all of them. So linear is all going to be the same way, which I don't think is going to be very good. Square gives us the effect we had essentially. But yeah, perhaps radial or circular is going to be the one for the job. There we go. So we can also change material properties in here, and if I split my screen and pick, say, the roughness channel, you can adjust the roughness between these regions independently. So say I turn the roughness on the blue down, we should see that reflect in our roughness map, and if I take it up for the middle, just to get, you know, variations between each, as if, you know, different thread has been used in each region. And we can do the same for metallic, of course. So I could have you know, a more metallic thread in the blue region, perhaps a little bit more metallic on the red region. There we go. And you can go all the way up to the top and you'll get a very metallic thread, which you can get, you know, it's not unheard of. So yes, there we go. We have some advanced properties which are about our intensities of our normals and such like, and you know, you can adjust those to, you know, get some sort of difference. The interesting one down here for me is the occlusion level. So we can bake occlusion into this. So this is what it looks like currently. So I can increase that intensity and I'll get a much more of a darker map, you know, in the cavities than I would, you know, with another value, a lower value or higher, you know. Okay, so that's it essentially. And I'm just going to, you know, stop here because, you know, we're pretty much done. But in the next bit, I'm just going to take this out of here and use it, perhaps in Substance Painter, as a patch. So I will talk to you in that section. Okay, so because this is something I might want to use on more than one occasion, I'm going to publish it and import it into Substance. So with the share button, I'm going to export as, and then in my channels, I don't necessarily want all of these. I think there might be one or two I can get rid of. Nope, they're all good. So I've got basic color, normal, roughness, metallic, height, and AO. And we'll give our substance a name. So I'll call it Unknown Star Patch. I need a folder to put it in. I'll put it into my training substances. Format, I want the SBS AR. and then I've got my output of 2048 by 2048, and I'll export. And over here you'll see it start to calculate out what's going on, and it tends to get to the end or very near the end and then stop for a while. It's not as most progress bars go, it's not very good. Oh, it's done it. Excellent. Right, so now in Substance Painter, so I have prepared what I'm going to put this on. We'll go and find that folder. So that was my training, and substances, and I've got Star Patch there, and I'm going to drag and drop this onto my library, and we'll give it a definition. It's a material, and I'm going to pop it into my library because I use it multiple times, and click import, and it should come in down the bottom there. You can see it's there. We've got a nice little preview on it, so we know what it is. You can simply press the send to substance button, but it will send it to it, but it will be unnamed. It won't be nicely packaged. Right, yes. So in the next bit we'll just pop this onto this t-shirt and see what we get. So I'll talk to you then. Okay, so what we're going to need is an alpha for this, and what I've done is I've just imported my black and white, my grayscale image, and just done the back to black and all of the patch area to white, just so that we can create a brush which fits our patch in perfectly. So in our Substance Painter, we're going to create a paint layer, and then from our materials we'll go and find our patch material. That's this one, not my untitled one. That's the one I've sent directly from Substance Sampler. And then over on our brush we're going to change a few of these properties. So first of all, to make it easy, I'm just going to pick the basic hard brush, and then we'll pop down here, and we need to bring that alpha in. So let's drag and drop that alpha into our library. I'm going to import it as an alpha, and then just current session for now. Okay, so for our alpha I want this in there. There we go. And now I can paint with this alpha, and you'll see that perfectly pops on that design, nicely embroidered onto our t-shirt. And of course you can go small, you can go really big. If you do go really big, I would have advised you to set the embroidery length to way above 1, so that it kind of fits. This looks a little bit rough, but I'm just going to use it for like a pocket badge kind of thing there. So we have a Captain America-ish kind of t-shirt, and the rest of this t-shirt is it's just a basic fabric that I've imported. It was just a default t-shirt in Marvelous Designer, just to get something going. Now, one of the things you might want to do here is just have a quick look at your layers. So if we look at our normal layer, we've got nothing interfering, and if we look at our height layer, there's apparently nothing on it. Excellent. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that there was no height layer underneath, which was causing it to kind of multiply. And let's go back to material. But one thing I'm going to do, because I don't want the normal from this kind of calculated texture underneath to interfere with this normal, so we'll switch this over to normal and change it from NMDT to normal. And you may or may not see any kind of change, but that's just me being a bit overprotective. Okay, so I hope you find it useful, and I'm pretty sure there's a million and one creative ways we could use this. For example, you could just create a whole carpet out of embroidery, and it would be a couple of image maps and a polygon. You know, I could even take the texture for this t-shirt and draw on it a design which could then be embroidered. So yeah, anything you can come up with, yeah, I'll put it in the comments. You know, I'm always interested in new and fancy creative thoughts. And I hope you found it useful, and I'll talk to you again in another video. Take care.